Hello and welcome to Lists and Other Things That No One Asked For with Jesse Barbin, your weekly mini podcast with essays and lists about music, TV, books, and in general, the painful process of growing up. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so I'll tell you something. I like being married. I feel like that's not a cool thing to say, but it's true. It's good to be comfortable with someone and be fully accepted by them for all that you are, bad and good. And I'm saying married here, but this applies to anyone in a long-term committed relationship. Being single and unattached definitely had its perks, but I feel like the downsides outweigh the benefits. At least for me. I work with a lot of young 20-something guys. 20-something guys love to talk about their crazy weekends, which means out of politeness they will occasionally ask me about my weekend. 20-something guys also like to tell you how much your weekend sucked. It's funny because to me their weekend sounds like an exhausting nightmare, and to them mine sounds like the most boring thing they could ever imagine, which is fine. First of all, when I hear people talk about dating in the present day and all of the apps, it sounds awful. I'm not currently having problems in my marriage, but when I hear a few Tinder nightmare stories, I'm certain that I will work through any problem that would ever arise and make our marriage work before I would go back in these streets. I would go to counseling and change anything I needed to change about myself. I am not equipped for modern dating. Furthermore, being married is fun most days. You've never known love and acceptance until you've sat on a couch in your pajamas with your significant other for a whole weekend, streaming episode after episode of a TV show that you both love, and the only words that pass between you are, "Do you think we're going to run out of snacks?" Single people can't do that. People in casual or new relationships can't do that. In my relationship, I feel comfortable to be my very worst self and also enabled to be my best self. Dating for me was just two circles of a Venn diagram that rarely touched. People I liked and people who liked me, a much smaller circle. Usually there wasn't any overlap, but every once in a while, someone I liked would like me back, and it was exhilarating. I think that initial thrill of having your feelings reciprocated is what most people miss when they're in a long-term relationship, and that's what single people are chasing. But it doesn't last forever, and that's okay. My wife's single friends are my best ally. They'll call her every few weeks and tell her all the horror stories of dating in the modern era, and then she'll hang up, slightly more satisfied in our marriage. Sometimes, if the stories are particularly harrowing, she'll give me a little hug out of nowhere, and I know she's been talking to her single friends. And she will look at me and not say anything, but her eyes are saying, "You're kind of bad at picking up after yourself, but I'll allow it because I don't want to be out here trying to find someone else." There is a certain pragmatism in long-term relationship love, and it's beautiful. Here are some of the best wedding presents we got. An egg slicer. I'm surprised how often I use this. Egg salad for sandwiches? No problem. Sliced eggs on top of a chef's salad? I got you. Number 2, KitchenAid. Technically, we took a bunch of gift cards we received and bought this, and it's still going strong all these years later. It's been invaluable. I use it for cookies, banana bread, and pizza dough. You can also shred chicken with the whisk attachment, which is a thing I learned on TikTok. Number 3, Pyrex 13x9 and 9x9 glass pans. These weren't even on our registry. Some genius relative just thought of us and bought them. I've made a lot of casseroles and brownies in these over the years. And anyway, I think being in a long-term committed relationship is pretty cool, and I endorse it. Thank you for listening to Lists and Other Things That No One Asked For. I post a new episode every Monday. If you prefer reading, this is also available as a Substack. You can find me on social media at Jesse Barbin. See you next week.